my Samuel Hill voice wasn't your wallet. I got that fire. I got that fire. I got that fire. Fire.
What it do, Black Milwaukee? 414 stand up. It's your man, 50 grand, Kevin Barnes, the Negro Whisperer, with another episode of the Big Black Sports Show.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear my applause? I'm not alone. I got my partner with me, Mr. Purdue. Coach Tank, what's going on with you, bro?
Yo, what's going on, bro? How you doing?
Man, I'm good. I can't complain. It warmed up a little bit. Spring is coming. I know people are impatient and whatnot, but it's coming, you know. And I mean, people in the Midwest always kill me is when it snow when it ain't supposed to. Oh, Lord. Dude, it's the Midwest. It's just right. what happens in the Midwest. But welcome to the show, everybody. It is another episode of the Big Black Sports Show. Like I stated before, on Mondays we do Outlaw Radio. Tuesday we do the Big Black Sports Show. Tomorrow night I'll do Outlaw Radio again, and then possibly on Thursday I'll do Outlaw Nation. I don't ask that you listen to every show. Just pick one or two, because then you're gonna probably end up listening to the other two, and then I got you. So tell a friend to tell a friend, man. We chop it up about some sports. Why do we talk about sports? Black people love sports. Black people talk about sports. Sports is very important in American society. Sports has a lot. What's going on in race relations and in the community usually is reflected by what's going on in sports. And it's a thing we call competition. It can only be one winner. Second place is the first loser.
Right.
So yeah, man, kick back, man, get your drink, do something to entertain yourself. You know, if you can watch ESPN and you can watch everything else when they talk about sports, you can support a black network such as the People's Network and support black talking about sports. And if you want to get involved in the conversation, the number scrolling across the bottom of the screen, 262-202-5131. There's a Cash App too, just in case you like what you see or like what you hear, as they say. And you can always feel free to contribute. But yeah, man. Like I said, man, it warmed up, man. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine, man. Hey, a lot of sports this weekend, brother. Enjoyed myself.
Yes. I mean, and we got a lot to even go through tonight. In terms of you know, the sports that went down. I don't know. I feel like I want to start with some kind of like off the field, off the court issues, and then just kind of ease into it, right? How we do it on the Big Black Sports Show. But like I said, if you're tuning in now, man, hit like, hit share, hit follow. Check out the YouTube. Check out the Twitter page. I have an Instagram page in which I share the show. I think it's the People's Network, which is my Instagram too. So support the show, right? So what happened you know what? I think I want to start with Colin Kaepernick.
Okay.
Jump right into it, right? And the thing about Colin Kaepernick for me is, why is he still on his knees begging to play?
Exactly.
Right? I don't want to simplify it by saying, well, obviously, Kev, we know why he's not playing, because he kneeled, right? And he took the stand. But my thing is at this point, like he even stated, you got Black Lives Matter on your helmets. You doing whole socially conscious weekends in which players get to write slogans on their cleats and donating to nonprofits. But one black man who took a knee to protest police killings that are perpetrated on black people took a knee, and so he can never throw a football again.
Right.
If this is the message that I'm getting from the NFL, this is so much slave, shut your damn mouth, sit your black ass down, or what they tell them in the NBA, just dribble, just bounce the ball, don't worry about it, right? I think every black person in America should feel some kind of way about Colin Kaepernick not being allowed even a tryout. If you want to even get him in and give him a trial and then railroad him and cut him, after that we'll say, well, you had a tryout. He can say it was some bullshit, but you had a tryout, whatever.
Well, they basically did that. They basically did that already with the tryout last a year or two ago at the high school. The workout, basically, they invited some NFL teams to come, and only 2 showed up. I think only 2 or 3 showed up.
Well, there was issues with the workout that they scheduled, because he had his terms. and they had theirs. Now, first of all, there should be people could bring that up, but the NFL was legally found guilty of collusion against his brother. Right. So the terms of the workout that how they wanted to do it, he felt like, I don't want to do it that way. It was a sham. So
Right.
what he did was he ended up doing his own at the high school, and on, like you said, only a couple people came. But it was what they call trumped up charges in a kangaroo court in the first place. Let's be honest about it. He was not walking out of there with a contract in hand. I mean, and this is like during the height of this whole when the awareness or this new woke movement or everybody's socially conscious now and all this kind of shit. This came along during this period. So I think a lot of them, they're old, rich, white dudes. I feel like a lot of them have just said, well, this nigga started it all. Like
right.
He's the reason, right? Like, because why else wouldn't you allow this brother to play football or at least get an opportunity to do so? It's egregious at best, right? What you think about Colin?
Well, here's my stance on Colin. Colin has an opportunity and he doesn't realize it. The United States Football League has just had their first inaugural game this Saturday, I think. I just watched the New Jersey Generals against the Birmingham Stallions. They just had their inaugural game. Now, this is not exactly a new league. They were established years ago, and they came back. But it's a professional football league. It's a brand new professional football league. Now, here's another opportunity for you to be a pro player and show what you got. The NFL doesn't want you. Okay? And that's fine. And we should have a problem with that. We should, as black people, we should have a problem with that. But we can support you, Colin, in the other league. And while we're supporting you, we can support the other black players that are playing in that league. And with our support, that league can be just as strong as the NFL in due time. But you have an opportunity to still play pro ball. Why are you kissing their ass? Why do you keep trying to get an opportunity to play in the NFL? Leave them alone now.
First of all, you sound like you blaming him. Like you sound like, well, why should he listen? Hold on. Why should he have to play down? Why should he have to play down? Why should I gotta earn my way back? Why? Because you took a knee about police killings? Like, listen, last time he was on the field, he was playing pretty well. He made it. He was injured, first of all, from running around with the ball the first few years, right? He was healed up. He came back. He led his team to victories. It's not like he was garbage when he finished. So why now? Well, you got to go try out for the USFL. No, you let me try out for a pro team. If I'm not good enough, then I'll go play in the USFL.
The USFL is a pro league. It's a professional league.
Not even close to the NFL, Tank. Come on, be serious. Come on, you
of course not. But it's pro. That's the thing.
It's a G league. It's a B league that the NFL is using. It's a minor league.
The NFL has more ties with the XFL than with the USFL. The USFL is a professional, legitimate league. Really. And I think he would have had more of an opportunity to show what he can do there instead of begging the NFL to let him back in. It's like he's begging to get back in right now.
Okay. I don't think he's begging. I think he's demanding what he's owed. Now, we can't say, some people could say, no, Kev, he's really like trying to appeal to him. I mean, the man want to play football again. He's a football player. So I don't think he's begging at all. I think he's saying, dude, the same thing I'm saying, which is it makes no sense for y'all to not let me at least try out. This is some dumb shit is what he's saying, and I'm agreeing with him. This is dumb. And black players in the NFL, shame on them. I know they have a collective bargaining agreement and all this kind of stuff, but yet another opportunity to show solidarity amongst us, for us, by us, goes out the window. Y'all understand on, y'all want to wear, when they say you can wear now, you can wear that hashtag and all. Why ain't nobody putting no hashtag let Colin play? Why are they not wearing free Colin Kaepernick t-shirts around the league? I might get fined. You got to understand the NFL operates the way they operate. They literally own human capital. These investments, they buy people. You are a product of this organization, right? Like you're property of this organization. And it's fine. The brothers, I love the game of football. I ain't talking down on football. And it's fine for brothers to go and get paid if they're good enough to do so. I'm just saying the way
But that's the truth.
The way it's
That's the
run,
truth.
it's been governed for a very long time, has been pretty much set up and executed by a bunch of old uber rich white dudes who got enough money to buy some people and make them run around for them. No, I'm gonna buy me a team, right? That's what I'm finna do with my money. I'm gonna buy me an organization with people that just run around and do what I say.
Something for my kids to do.
Well, yeah, it's just, and it's not most of the time. It's a toy. You know, I got a team out. They take their business partners to be in the suite, and yeah, we went to the game. And you got, come on, man. The games rich people play, and we are under the illusion that okay, I'm gonna go to the league. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna get rich. I'm gonna change my family's fortunes, and we'll be able to one day maybe even elevate to that kind of status where generational wealth was able to be created, and my great grandson is now an NFL GM or something. Nah, it's not happening like that.
Right.
So I think black people right now need to demand that Colin Kaepernick be allowed to play. We talked boycott before, and I'm gonna tell you, we kind of forgot about it. We slipped in and we slipped out. Okay, I'm one of those people who I've watched every Packer game that I since if I lived in Milwaukee or Wisconsin, it was a Packer game. I watched it. I seen it. It's just something I did with my dad, just growing up, right? Like, which made me want to play football. So I will admit, I always talk about the coon in me too. I watch the Packer game, but I don't watch any other NFL games. I don't buy any apparel. None of that. I don't do Super Bowl parties, and then I used to, yeah, come on over on Monday night, let's kick and get some wings. None of that. None of that shit. Right. So I'm saying there's a movement to be put into place there. And I feel like NFL players really have let Colin Kaepernick down. I think he's looking at them like, oh, y'all shady. Right.
Yeah.
So, that's just how I feel. However, if somebody out there has a different opinion about, Colin Kaepernick, and some people might feel like you, Tank, like, why is he begging? Because I know they said, well, he's been offered by the CFL, and he's like, nah. And he's offered by the USFL. He's like, nah, because it's just like, why? Why should I? I'm not hurting for money. I actually want to play football. It ain't about the bread.
But why not try to make your own lane? Why try to force yourself into a league that doesn't want you? That's my thing. Why try to play? Why try to play for in a league that doesn't want you there?
I'll go you one better.
You can go, okay.
Why don't we have our own league?
Hey,
why with all the black
sustain our own league?
With all the black athletes, and this is supposed to be a time in history in which there's more black millionaires than ever. There's black billionaires in this country, and why don't we have our own league? Why don't we have and say, look, okay, we got a league with minority owners now where everybody can come in and buy a team, and we're gonna be in every major city. We go to a smaller venue. We don't got to play, Dallas Stadium. We go to something smaller to build up our clientele. Because first of all, if the majority of the top-notch talent leaves the NFL and goes to this league, the NFL will go out of business. People say, well, the NFL will put up all kinds of legal fights, and I'm sure they would, because that's what they've done historically. That's wwhy they absorbed the AFL. And that became the AFC for people who don't know the history of the league. So it's a lot of bullshit in the NFL, man. And I love football as much as the next man, but I just feel like we don't call the NFL out enough. Like they done, even with the whole head injury thing, like where they just lied, and how they've treated the vets, the pioneers.
Years and years of racial transgressions. Years and years of racial transgressions. But I'm telling you, Kev, man, I watched a couple of USFL games this weekend, and it was great professional football.
Okay.
Big hits, big plays. Man, I mean, even different camera angles. It was fun to watch. You know what I'm saying? And it's a professional league. So my thing is, Colin, you don't have to beg them anymore. You got another league that you can help put life into. It may not be as big as the NFL, but you can actually make this league popular.
Yeah, I'm gonna go somewhere else and blow somebody else shit up so they can make more money and then put me out. Come on, man.
And here's the thing. What if he does? Okay, so what if the NFL says, okay, Colin, we're gonna give you another shot, but you can't pull that shit anymore. Don't kneel, no kneeling, no fist bumps in the air. We don't want to see little piggies on your socks, little police piggies on your socks. None of that shit anymore. To me, if he goes back after being given an ultimatum like that, that would be.
See, once again, you got the pig by the tail, right? Like, because first of all, if he goes back and they put them restrictions on him, he should say, all right, cool. I done enough. He's proved his point. He sacrificed his livelihood. And
no, that's against the point.
He sacrificed his livelihood, and brothers ain't even support him wholeheartedly. The people ain't even stand with him. The NFL is still popping. Brothers in the league still getting their money. So if he come back and say, nah, you know what? If y'all don't want me, okay, I ain't gonna do none of that. I'm gonna show you that I can separate my passion and my love for this game that I grew up playing, that got me to where I am now. That's totally different from who I am off the field, right? Like
so Kev, he wants to play because he has the passion to play, right? He's not hurting for money, right? Didn't Nike just give him $36 million?
I don't know his financials, but he's had some profitable deals over the years. He's like Nike money and he's commercials.
He's very well off.
Yeah.
So you're playing because you have a passion to play. Man, you still can play pro football in the USFL if you got a passion to play.
I feel like you trying to talk him into copping out. I feel like it's always that dude when you saying, I'm not saying you that dude, right? But it's always a black dude telling the other black dude, when the black dude say, man, I'm finna go in here and get what the fuck they owe me. And it's always another dude standing there going, hold on, man, don't do that. Like, no, you should just go. If they just go to work in the mailroom and then work your way back. And the dude is like, what are you talking about? This is unjust. This is unfair. This is not right. And he'll still try to talk you down. I feel like you being that dude.
No, I'm let's consider everything. Let's consider all the variables. First of all, how old is Colin Kaepernick? About 37, 36?
Nah, he's not that old. He might be what? Oh man, he hasn't played in 5 years. He's about he might be 30, 29.
5 years. 5 years out of the league, and he's a quarterback. Man, that's a big risk.
Who works out at a high level and has since he stopped playing. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong.
You're not in the film room. You're not in the quarter QB room. You're not working out with the team.
Don't know that he's not watched film. He may have a quarterback coach that he works with that keep him up on everything. I'll give you credit for this. Yeah, you 5 years away. You got some rust to shake off. But okay, so I see the NFL go and get cats who I was teaching gym in Butthole, Wyoming, and they go get him, and it'd be a great American novel after he come win the Super Bowl with him. So
you don't have that many Kurt Warners though.
How many? It's endless stories of bum quarterbacks being brought back to the NFL with a 5th, 6th, 7th chance, and it was what it was. Nobody said nothing. But a brother who ain't, I mean, give him a shot. I'm saying at least give him a tryout. If he doesn't get a tryout, the NFL has basically proven that they are full of shit.
I would love to see him get a tryout. I would love to see him get more than a tryout. I would love to see him actually latch on to a team. But once again, he's saying, hey, I'm willing now to just be an NFL backup, which means you may not even hit the field.
He said he's
who you play with, right?
He said he's willing to do that. He said he's willing. He said he's willing to be an NFL backup.
You're willing to be an NFL backup. So that means, hey, you may not even see the field, Colin, depending on who you're backing up if they stay healthy all season. Don't you want to play? Isn't this what this is about? You got the earning to, huh?
You're saying two different things. He's saying I want to play, like just even if I know it's been 5 years, just let me back. I'm willing to work my way in. I'm not asking for no $100 million Aaron Rodgers type joint. I want to come back and be back. I want to be around the game. And then you saying, well, you should just play in the USFL, but you saying, well, why you ain't demanding play time from the NFL? Like, he's confused.
That's what I'm saying. He'll have more of a chance to actually play and be on the field
or get hurt
USFL than be on the bench holding the clipboard in the NFL. There goes Colin Kaepernick.
Or get hurt on the USFL insurance plan.
He can get hurt in either league.
NFLs, right?
Football. He can get hurt more months.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm not. Well, I know, man. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Oh, y'all let us know how you feel. Tank and I disagree, right? We disagree. You know how we do it in Milwaukee.
Right.
But it's okay. What's we gonna get to all the good Packer stuff and the draft stuff and the stuff about the Bucks. Bucks in 5, Bucks in 4. I ain't talking that Bucks in 6. That ain't cute.
Bucks in 4.
Bucks in 4.
Bucks in
right?
4.
On my
like
Capitol Drive.
4.
Say in my Capitol Drive voice. But no, Dwyane Wade. The Dwyane Wade play for the Miami Heat. I don't know if this situation is gonna take legs and wings like the whole Will Smith thing did, because you couldn't even get away from that for about 2 weeks. It's like, God damn. But the Dwyane Wade thing with the transgender boy, with a photo of the little boy kissing a white girl who identifies as a boy. So there's a boy who's black who identifies as a girl who's kissing a white girl who identifies as a boy. It's all kinds of crazy around here, right? And so I like to observe the flow of the conversation amongst the people. You pop in and you go on social media for the bullshit sometimes. You pop in, you pop out. I go in there and see, okay, what they arguing about today. And I'm seeing the argument because, first of all, people are saying, well, this is child porn. Have you seen this?
I've seen it, and I thought it was a young white male. I actually thought it was a young white male. I didn't read the article, but I saw the pictures, and I was like, wow, that's pretty bold. But
okay. So I guess I found out that the boy is actually 14, I think. I thought he was younger than that. If he's 14 years old, the
Dwyane Wade's son or the other person?
Apparently they're both 14. I know he's 14 or she's 14. Dwyane Wade's kid. Dwyane Wade's kid. Let's say he, she. I don't know what I'm supposed to call him, right? But I think for me, I just as a parent, just me saying as a father, like when my daughter was 14 and maybe she had a boyfriend comes over, I wouldn't say y'all kiss and take a picture. My son, if he had a little girl that he was dealing with, and she told, I'm gonna come by and see and meet your family. That's fine. We eating. I'm not gonna say, hey y'all, take a picture together. Get in there, Kevin. Give her a kiss. I wouldn't. This is weird, right? This is some more of this Will and Jada weird Hollywood black people type celebrity bullshit, right? Like,
right. I agree with that.
I don't know. Okay, we can say that's child porn-ish. I don't know that it's child porn, but it's very weird. But secondly, they're pushing this line in this narrative. I don't know if Gabrielle Union and Dwyane Wade think that they're like, I don't know, what are they trying to do? Like, what is this little youngster, this little brother who is a sister, apparently, according to him, has been basically pushed. And to me, he chose that. But we as parents, once we support something, it comes with a little push. Now, if you don't got kids, maybe you don't understand, right? So it's just like if I say, well, my son's he wants to be a little girl, I take him shopping, spend a lot of money, he want purses and shit, he want dresses and skirts and shit, right? Like, and I'm going over in my head like, this shit ain't, I don't want you to do this, but this what you want, I got to show you support, so I'm gonna buy this shit, right? So if you so happen to wake up one morning and be like, man, Dad, I'm gonna wear some jeans, no, you better get in there and get one of them goddamn purses. You know how much I pay? No, I'm just saying it comes with a little support. So obviously, from the outside looking in, because I don't know these people personally, it would appear that there's some push, a little nudge towards, okay, well, you gay, right? You little, because there's photo ops and there's all these, it's just like support is one thing, but I feel like this is something that they've kind of put on the boy too. So
it looks like advocacy for normalization. That's what it looks like to me. They're trying to make it normal. You know what I'm saying? By publicizing it. And they're a very public couple and they're a very public family. So they advocacy through normalization, man. Garbage.
Dwyane Wade has a son who at one point or maybe still is pretty good at basketball, right? I don't know what he looks like. That this little transgender child has the camera's been flashing for years on him, her, whatever it is, him, her, him, her, him.
Now he has 3 sons, right?
He has a lot of kids. He has like 5 or 6. I know he has a little girl. Well, apparently he has 2 little girls. But no.
I just caught on to that. What's up?
I know. Thank you, man. Welcome to the Big Black Sports Show, right? But no, so I try my best. I don't like tell, and this is like black people things. You mind your business, right? You stay out of other people's business, right? And so you don't try to tell nobody, how to run their shit. But I'm saying it's not a good look. I feel like this is some kind of perverted, twisted Hollywood kind of clout chaser. It's all like all kinds. It's a milkshake of dysfunction. I feel like it is for, and I kind of feel sorry for this little young brother because God forbid one day he ever say, you know what, I just want to be a dude today. Like he's gonna be. This is who he is. No matter what he decides when he becomes an adult, all he's ever gonna see is these pictures from him, and people gonna torment him with like, no, what you doing? You can't wear jeans. He's gonna be so confused. That's right. But I just I don't want to, I don't care if people think I'm homophobic, first of all, because I'm not. So it don't bother me. So if I'm walking down the street and somebody say homophobe, I don't turn around and look back like, who, me? I know you ain't. I just keep walking. That's the trick people gotta understand when somebody say something to them. Say, hey, bitch, you ain't talking to me. So I just kept walking, right? Oh man. But no, so yeah, I want to play this Charleston White audio, because I'm still working on doing the video thing here. I'm gonna bring that to the show pretty soon. I'm gonna play the Charleston White joint, and I'm gonna let you hear what Charleston White says. And I'm cautioning you right now, if you have sensitive ears or if you are a person who's easily offended, do not listen to that part of this show. But first I see shout out to Earl Henning. Shout out to Juan Mac Jones. Always got to pick up my chat room people. He said, did you see some of the QBs playing in the last 5 years? Gives me a basic understanding of what you think. Okay, right. Okay. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like there's a million great quarterbacks in the NFL. You recycle bums all the time. So why not give Colin Kaepernick another shot? You know what I mean? Yeah. Let me go down. There's another one. He says, what would you do if your kids came out to you and said, I'm gay? Okay. Right. That question always comes when we start talking about anything in relations to this. I will say this: if my son early on or my daughter early on in life, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, comes out and says, I'm gay, I say, you have no idea what you are yet. It's way too early for you to be making a decision about your sexuality because you don't even know what it is. So what I would encourage you to do is just be a child, right? And that's how I'm going to treat you. I'm going to, if you're a little boy, I'm going to treat you like a little boy. I'm not going to say, well, you know what? It's okay. You be a little, I'm not going to say that to you. Now, if you so happen to, I ain't going to beat you. I'm not going to isolate you. When you do what you do, I'm saying, well, you know what? That's on you. That's you. If that's what you want, we'll find out. Now, if you 17, 18, 19, you come to me and said, Pop, I say, well, okay, you still my child. I love you, but I'm not cool with that. I want you to know I'm not cool with that. It don't mean I don't love you or you're not my child. I'm just telling you I don't support that. Right. And then from there it goes. There's rules. I would expect you not to come home with no dude telling my dad, this is my boyfriend. He's going to come eat Thanksgiving dinner with us. No, he's not. I hope you got family in Milwaukee. As he won't get near the spoon addressing here. Or even with my daughter. So I respect an adult's privilege to do whatever it is that they want to do. But when it comes to children, I think that's it's strictly a hands-off thing, right? So I don't support, if my daughter was 10 years old and she was talking about sexuality, that's something we ain't gonna, because you don't even know, we're not doing that with you at 10. You better get your little ass and sit down. And you know what? We're gonna watch you. Because you you a wild one, so that's what a parent's supposed to do, in my opinion. So I guess I would pose a question for you that Earl Henning asked, what do you What would you do if your son came out and said he's gay?
Well, for me, basically the same, man. I talk to him. Like you said early on. Uh, Early on, if my son came to me with that, I would definitely talk to him and monitor his behavior and his actions, and see what's going on. What is the cause of him thinking he's gay? When they
Right.
get older, that it lets you know that the sexuality of it has taken place. You know what I'm saying? And he may be a little far gone now. I would accept it. I would accept it. But for me, I'm more of a private person, so I wouldn't be happy with the public displays of affection.
Okay.
I wouldn't be happy with that,
Word.
and that's just me. I'm That's just me. I wouldn't be happy with it, but yeah, man, that's tough. That's tough. But it seems like the way that Gabrielle and Dwayne is handling it, it's almost like they got a contract with LBGTQ and shit or something. Hey, let's help promote homosexuality. Let's help promote young homosexuality.
First of all, let me give everybody out there a little advice. If you have a young child, and I'm talking 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever, and they're acting out in a sexual manner, you need to really police who your child is around. You need to start asking some crazy questions like, "Wait, what's going
Yes,
on? Where's this coming from? Like, why are you what all of a sudden, because it's not something that you just come in with as you're a little kid. A kid is a blank slate. So if there's somebody in around who's touching you, cats be like, well, and it's always crazy to me. And I don't want this show to be about this is the big black sports show. But we
yes,
talk
sir.
about where sports and society intersect. And Dwayne Wade was a Hall of Fame basketball player in the NBA or is a Hall of Famer. We get it. Okay. So I like I said, I think that if that child is expressing that, I need to look around and say, what's going on? Because you hear a lot of young brothers say, well, I was molested until I was 12 or 13. And then I liked men. You feel me? Like they was
Yep.
taught to be gay. You know what I mean? So, like I said, man, I think it's a very controversial subject. Shout out to Tiasha Arthur, strong supporter of the show. Bill Trey. Is that Travion Billings? I wonder is that my little shouty. Travion. He said, right, that's crazy. I just had this conversation from the same perspective. The world fucks them up, so they really have no clue. Well, yeah, we know now that there's always in the black family where we've done shows in the past about there's a family member who's does something or an acquaintance that does something that's close with the family and it's kind of kept under wraps or
Yep.
kept a secret, right? For whatever reason. So I'm just if that's where my head is as a parent, if my son is at 8, 9, and I'd say, hold on, whoa.
Right.
Who
Where's you
be at
getting
that
this from? What's going
daycare?
on?
Look, I need everybody name in this daycare right now before I go to doing DNA swabs at the hospital. Not me personally, but to take my kid there and say, I need my son checked. Right. So that's one thing. So when we talk about kids and sexuality, daddy, I like boys. Well, not until you get 18. Because my daughter,
Right.
my daughter had parameters on heterosexual shit. Like my wife is like, no, you don't date, you don't get a boyfriend until you're a certain age. So you damn sure
Right.
ain't gonna be talking, I got a girlfriend at 9 kissing.
And I don't believe in that Sigmund Freud shit when we talk about we're sexual as soon as we're born. I don't believe in that. I don't believe that.
I, I don't know. I
You
think
know,
you start moving towards it because you identify
early,
when you say, "Oh, I like that little girl." You don't mean nothing. So, would you be my girlfriend? We do that shit in elementary school, but you have no real understanding of what that actually means. You just I go with her. What do that mean? Unless you little managed little Capitol Drive dude playing hide and go
man,
in the hood.
man. Oh,
And say we did. Everybody saying we did that shit in my hood too.
man.
Yeah,
That was
you know
one
how
of my favorite games coming up.
We got a freak on the loose.
Got my speed from like, I'm gonna catch you, girl.
Man. Oh man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about the Dwayne Wade thing. And I do okay, so I want to play the Charleston White. I could not play it, but I'm going to play it, right? Just for the as I always say, shits and giggles. And it's very offensive, trust me. So, like I said, if you are sensitive or you really And I want to talk about Charleston White too, because he is at this point, he's huge, and there's a lot of people who say what the things he talks about and the people who he calls out on issues, he's correct in that. So just check this out.
Bitch, you need to be kicked in your motherfucker. No, Dwyane Wade, you need to be kicked in your ass, you bitch ass nigga. I hate a tall basketball, Louis Cinder long motherfucker. Don't let this bitch come corrupt the boy. The boy probably could have been a violinist. Look at him, he a flaming faggot. You saw what happened to Michael Sam. Michael Sam kissed that goddamn boy. Then nobody want to play football with him no more. You seen it? Same thing gonna happen to your faggot ass. I'm losing my goddamn Instagram page today. Fuck Instagram. And fuck everybody who down with that shit. Everybody. Hollywood, the NBA, the president. Nigga, y'all wrong in the motherfucker. Wrong in the bitch. Shit, nigga, I used to get my ass whooped for fucking when I was 12 and 13, getting caught hunching. And here it is, y'all got these two gay motherfuckers presented before our kids. Fuck Disney. Yeah, fuck Nickelodeon too. Yeah, no, I don't want to be on television. Yeah, no, fuck. Yeah, I thought I wanted to be an actor. I don't want to be no actor. There's some funny shit going on. There's some funny shit going on with you Hollywood black motherfuckers. Gabrielle Union. See, you mad because you can't have no baby. And you probably don't like Dwyane Wade baby mama. Y'all probably look down on the poor nigga bitch. Because y'all got to look celebrity fame. So y'all done went to the court and y'all done took the nigga gal babies. Y'all done brought the nigga gal babies into Hollywood with this freaky faggot gay shit. Right? So now here it is. Y'all done brought this little boy out to the world. He done had his nails painted because this bitch want a daughter. Bitch, you go rot in hell, and I know your pussy stink. Ain't
That is the shit of it, right? Like, so I tell y'all all the time, I'm on YouTube. I pay attention to platforms because I really do, compare and look at what contrast what we do here with other, other platforms. So Charleston White is huge right now, especially on YouTube, because of that kind of stuff. And I want to know, because it's funny. It's oh man, this is crazy. But then at points it's like, ooh, shit. Did you hear what he said? What did you think about that? Because there's more. That's just the beginning. That's not even. It's in the People's News Network. So if you're in that group, go ahead and check that out. What you think about that, man?
I'm very familiar with Charleston White, man, and some things he says I agree with, and some things I'm like, dude, you're a fucking fool. But with in that case, kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense, like especially the part where he was saying that Gabrielle Union wanted to turn the boy into a girl. She wanted a daughter.
Is that true? I don't know that that's true. Listen, once again, I did a show on Outlaw Nation a couple weeks back. It was called Cuss Words. And I talked about when you hear something, if there's profanity involved, does it take away the reality of the message, right? Like, so, and that's what was a lot of people's knock on hip hop in the beginning, is that, it had profanity in it or whatever. Well, some of it, the gangster rap, kind of more aggressive stuff, not the hip to the hip hop hip, that was non-threatening. But I'm saying, but those messages were still there in that music, right? Like, so,
right.
Ghetto poetry. They say it's a lot of truth to be told in pain when it comes to pain, right? Like, and so a person who's hurting, they'll tell you, they'll give you their truth. So I guess my point is, I when I hear what he's saying, I'm hearing what he's saying, but not what I hear what you're saying, but I know what you mean. There we go. And not that I want to blast Gabrielle Union and call her all kinds of disrespectful names, because at this point in my life, that's not something I'm going to engage in. A funky ass bitch and all that. That's juvenile, right? At best, right? It's way, if you really want to just, you can sum all that up by saying, man, this chick is just no good. Like last night, I was joking around. We were talking about this, and I said, Dwyane Wade must be stopped, right? But I put there, bitch ass Dwyane Wade with his punk ass, like, I ain't into that. I'm not on that stage. Travion, that is Billings, man. He said, "What up, Coach Tank?"
What's up, Trey?
He said, "Definitely a great topic and important for young black men. They got Olympians transgender dominating the women's competition after transfer. Crazy, but to try and bash or cancel those that stand on God's ordinances. It's deeper." But said, "Yeah, what's happening, Coach?" He said, "Yes, him. Yeah." He said, "What's happening, Coach?" I'm like, "What's happening?" Oh, I'm getting old and said, "What did the boy say that? What's happening?" What was you finna say, Tank?
Billings got a good point there, man. Transgenders in Olympic competition, that's a no go.
Yes. Yeah. Well, now, okay. There you go, both of y'all. That's good, by the way. We look at, okay, well, what does this have to do with anything, Kevin? And we talk about sports, because I told you in the beginning of the show, sports and society they intersect really closely, right? So we have issues with, transgender men going in women's bathrooms and the controversy and stuff like that creates, but then it leaks over into sports in which you have transgender males competing against females now. Even to the point where a couple years back, there was a transgender MMA fighter who was fighting women, and he fractured one of the ladies' skulls that he was fighting.
Right.
It's a grown man, right? Vera DeMilo type shit.
Right.
Vera DeMilo on In Living Color. And so when we say, okay, well, as a heterosexual man, how can I not have concern about this? To say, man, God forbid it was my daughter. My daughter wasn't an athlete, but God forbid I'd have took her somewhere and I look across the mat and this little Timmy, he said he a girl. The hell you preach? Come on, man. We leaving. Right. And so, and the fact that the guy who's, I forget his name, we talked about him, who just won the medal in the NCAAs. He was like 476th ranked. And then when he got with the women, he won the medal, bruh.
These nuts.
Come on, man. So, yeah, man. I mean, you're right. Trey, I agree with you. But I also believe, I like that he said it's an important topic for us to talk about with young black males. Because I think right now, what we have to do with young black males is let them know it's okay to be a heterosexual black male.
Right.
But responsibilities that come with masculinity, right? And so he has to know how to manage, how to move, how to, kind of, and there's a sense of accountability and integrity that you got to have as a man. All these are jewels that we need to be dropping on our youngsters, and that will counteract all this. No, it's okay to carry a purse, bruh. As my son, I gotta be honest. My son walking here right now with a purse. I'm like, bruh, nah,
right.
Not here. I don't care what the style is. I don't care what the trend is. And I bought it with my own money. You won't carry it around here. That's not what men folk do, right? So
you can't follow all the trends, bro.
Right. So, but that's my opinion, and I don't expect anybody to say, well, Kev, you the perfect parent, and I don't have all the answers, and I keep telling y'all we can never save the world with a podcast, but it's worth talking about. It's Outlaw Radio. It's the Big Black Sports Show. It's the People's Network, man. Swallow spit. That's what we do. What else we got? Antonio Brown has come out and said that he's admitted that he didn't handle his way he walked off the field. And then, because he wants to get back on the team. And Floyd Mayweather has actually come out and said he'd pay a team if Antonio don't make it, like he'd pay them. And so Antonio Brown, at one point, I really said, well, there has to be some mental health issues here, right?
Yep.
Not knowing him or not knowing how, because apparently his whole life he's been a pretty wild dude. I mean, I don't know if y'all ever been around some Florida cats though, like especially Florida. There's some wild boys, right? Like I was fortunate enough to play with some and against some from Miami and down deep in what they call the bottom and all that. The boys is wild, right? Like they on a whole different,
right.
Luke, it just changes the game, right? Like so, but I do think he was going through something. I think pressure and wealth and all that kind of stuff was, I never liked Bruce Arians, who's the coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Even though they say he's real progressive, he had an entire black coaching staff, which is big ups because a lot of coaches in the NFL don't do that. He even left the brother in charge.
That was great what he did.
Right. But I always felt like Bruce Arians was one of them coaches who would say some wild shit to you, right? Like who would just tell you, motherfucker, I cut your punk out. You'd be like, man, this white boy think he cold. I'm gonna be done fucked around and whooped him. Yeah, like coach me on some shit, right? And he's NFL for 50 years, so I'm sure he just give it to you with both barrels. So I felt like he always throws me off in his press conferences. Like I always be like, I don't like that dude. But so did Antonio Brown react? You know how he should have. He said I admit it was immature. I should have did it differently. And I want another shot. Do you think he should get another shot in the league based on what he did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would give him another shot, man. Yeah. What he did was terrible, bad timing, but it wasn't, it wasn't damaging. It wasn't too damaging.
Okay.
So yeah, I would give him another chance, man. I think he's worth it, but these receivers, year in and year out, are getting better and better and better. That's because the NFL is now a passing league. So,
right.
The more time you're out of the league, the harder it is to get back in. So, yeah, it's all about who's willing to take that chance on him because he is going to fuck up again. I'm pretty sure of that. He's going to make another mistake. Hopefully he won't, but I just got a feeling he is. Who's willing to deal with that, though?
Okay.
Because the talent is there. I mean, this dude, shit, to be 5'10", 5'11", he catches anything you throw in his radius.
And he's a vet, he's savvy, he make big plays. He's an NFL player for real. He's a
Hall of hands.
He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. People don't even know, and he lit the league up in Pittsburgh. He led the league with what do you have 3,000-4,000 yard years in a row? Like beaten though, like he got his head knocked around. That's why he kind of loose up there sometimes. Got that Kanye shit going on.
Right. Now he didn't get to produce that much in Tampa Bay, but they had other receivers.
But he was a big part of their offense. He was a big part of how they won the Super Bowl because when he's in the game, you got to scheme for him because he gonna run a good route and he's gonna catch the ball. So we'll see. I just hope this brother can get his mind right. Like, you know what I mean? Like football is cool or whatever. And if this is an act, if this is what you do to stay relevant, stay in the league or whatever, I just hope his mind's right. So when he's not playing anymore, we won't hear some story about this dude doming himself or God forbid, doming somebody else. You know what I mean? Because of football players, and you look at Junior Seau and all these dudes who just long-term mentally weren't there. You'd have never thought like Junior Seau would but he was wilding out before he, and people didn't know why. He was wilding out before he killed himself. So yeah. Now it was a big fight weekend. I don't know if y'all know y'all don't like the sweet science like myself. I'm outside of football. Boxing is my favorite sport, man. It's just you just don't get enough big fights, but they had a big one. I'm gonna tell you something very funny, it shows you how dumb I am. Every time I seen the promotions for this fight, Spence versus Ugas, I kept saying Spence versus Uglass because to me it looked like people say Uglass. I just kept saying Spence fighting somebody with the Uglass this weekend, like whatever.
Right? That was a good fight. That was a very good fight.
Okay, so let's talk about the fight. I don't know. Are you Errol Spence? Are you a fan? A supporter? I don't like to use the word fan, but the supporter. You followed his career?
Yeah. I followed Spence closely. I'm a fan. It was a good fight, man. And actually, I'm surprised at how physical he was and how doggish he was after his accident, after the eye situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. It was like watching him before the accident. He was ruthless in there. Toe to toe. He can box, but he can box. He's got skills. But if you go toe to toe with him, he's not running. He's not running. He's going to stand in there with you and trade.
He did a lot of damage. He did a lot of damage to that brother's face.
Like he broke his rib.
Okay.
He broke his rib. He broke his nose. He smacked him up.
His eye was swollen. His eye was swollen. His eye was swollen. And he's a pretty tough fighter in his own right. Now, but the whole conversation.
Manny Pacquiao.
Oh, man. Manny Pacquiao, 300 years old. Goddamn. Shit. You can't take the damn shark sperm no more for the super steroid.
But for some reason, man, the top welterweight still wanted to fight Manny Pacquiao. You guys If Spence was supposed to fight Manny Pacquiao,
Right.
but they wouldn't let him. So you guys took that fight. But even before then, Thurman, all those guys, all of them would rather fight Pacquiao. And it's because it's a money fight. Pacquiao draw, he's a big draw.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it basically was. These guys, man, that's something I want to talk about too, man. These dudes, some of these dudes act like they don't, the belts don't matter to them. The paydays matter more now.
It does.
But I always thought that once you get the belt, the paydays come.
No, especially when there's bigger paydays. Like you could say, okay, I would get a belt. Or you could say, but if I go fight this cat, I bring home $50 million, right? It'd be for me too. If I say I got a chance to fight for the belt, makes 10 million. I could go over here and fight this dude, make 70. I'm going to make that 70. Right?
But see, now it's getting to the point where being a contender doesn't matter. Being the number one, the number two, the number three contender doesn't matter anymore. Like for instance, man. Also, I watched Triple G fight over the weekend. He fought a Japanese fighter named Murata.
Right.
And he whooped dude. He whooped his ass really good. 9th round TKO. After the fight in the ring, man, he gave this dude his ring robe. And then later walked to his dressing room and gave his belt back.
Right.
And I'm like, that is very weird. But then I realized, okay, well, he's doing that for a reason. He doesn't want to fight that mandatory. He doesn't want to fight whoever, I think it was the WBA belt, I'm not sure. But whoever was the mandatory and for that belt, he didn't want to fight that mandatory. So he gave that belt right back. I have no other reason to think, why else would he do that?
He might be having issues. It might be Antonio Brown all over again. You know, I mean, he's a boxer. He's been hitting shit a million times. Like, you act like a lot of these boxers are damaged. A lot of athletes are damaged and have mental health issues. There's a tremendous amount of pressure and physical trauma as well that these, especially boxers and football players and hockey players, like they really sacrifice their bodies. So, but you ain't even talking about what I want to talk about. I want to talk about a real fight. I want Crawford.
Crawford
versus Spence. I want to see
Spence. Hey, they've been working. Well, they supposedly have been working on that for 2-3 years now, man. But and that's another problem. The boxing promotion is becoming like monopolized. You know what I'm saying? You got PBC that's snatching up all the great boxers. You know, Bob Arum is about to check out. So how many other promoters do you really have?
Well, you got Mayweather. I think Jay Prince down in Houston with Rap-A-Lot has a pretty big company too. And so it's about in terms of, so you got Heyman, and then you got who else? You got Money or Mayweather's with
Heyman. You might as well say Heyman and Floyd is together.
But De La Hoya still got Golden Boy. The Golden Boy's still cracking.
Okay, you got Golden Boy. You got fighters over there. Good fighters over there. I think Ryan Garcia just beat Tiger over the weekend. And I think he's still signed to Golden Boy. He's a good up-and-coming welterweight.
Right. Boxing the promoters have always been the thing that make or break the fights, right? Like this goes all the way back to Muhammad Ali and all them cats, you know. So because the terms got to be right. I mean, you about to go in here and risk your brain. Like you can get killed in this ring. We got to make sure that everything is beneficial for us. But I want to see Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. And Errol Spence called out Terrence Crawford and said, "I'm coming for your belt," right? But you talked about beating people up. Terrence Crawford is a mean boxer. He punishes. He's famous for actually toying with opponents and not like, I could knock you out, but I'm just gonna really beat you up really badly just work out on you. They stopped Terrence Crawford fights from him just brutalizing somebody. So, and Errol Spence, he, like you said, he was fighting with bad intentions, right? He was throwing blows to break bones. So this can be a mega fight. I'm looking. They got to get this done.
Yeah. Now, as an indicator, they both fought Sean Porter, right?
Right.
Now he went the distance, I think, with Errol Spence. Wait, or did he go the distance?
Is that since the accident or was that before?
I think it was.
I thought
I'm
Errol
not sure.
Spence, go back and check out. I thought he had a fight after he came back where he fought, he won, but he wasn't. People were saying he wouldn't ever be able to get back. And then this fight, that was so surprising that he was just the power and the movement and all that stuff.
All
The
right.
aggressiveness was just there. Like, man.
And I never saw Spence get rocked either. He got
Right.
rocked in that fight. Never seen
Yeah.
him get rocked. But
Right.
Bud, man, Bud is. See, I'm on the fence with this fight, dude, because I like them both as much. I like both of these fighters, man. But Bud's man. It's
And
gonna be
people
a
don't
good
know.
fight, dude.
I would encourage people out there, if you're just tuning in to the Big Black Sports Show, we talk about sports. It's what we do on Tuesday nights. Welcome to the show. Myself and Coach Tank, Mr. Larry Perdue. I'm the Negro Whisperer. You dig? But I would encourage people, if you don't know who we're talking about with Terrence Crawford, go on YouTube. Just put in the search engine Terrence Bud Crawford, or go put Errol Spence in and watch the body of work that both of these brothers. These brothers are some malicious hitters, as they call them. So
that should be your next welterweight class right there.
Right. This is Hitman Hearns, Marvin Hagler level kind of physicality, because both of them dudes was killer. That's another thing. That's a good thing I love about boxing. If you end up one day just drifting and you end up watching an old fight, maybe Muhammad Ali or Joe Frazier, or just the people who you hear about, watch it and this shit. Like, it's like going back watching Mike Tyson knockouts. If you watch a young Mike before the rape case, you say, wow, all except for Buster Douglas, right? But he had dropped Buster too. He had, we talk about that slow count. It is what it is.
That's true.
Right, we talk about that slow count.
That fight should have been over.
Yeah, man. There's another controversy that was a big topic in sports too. And I always like to talk about sports stories that have some relevance towards Black people, because we, as usual, are ahead of a lot of people in their platforms when we discuss the effect of racist white sports fans, right? In every sport. If I'm even gonna go back to the NFL and we talk about who was really offended by calling Kaepernick and what he did. Old white sports fans, racist white sports fans, right? This is what makes this such a crazy issue for me, because if you're a white person, if you're a racist person, I feel like you really hate Colin Kaepernick. He disrespected the game. He disrespected the soldiers. He's not a patriot. What's a patriot? A patriot is somebody who you saying is blind to any injustices that America perpetrates or perpetuates on anybody, and just in the good things is we should kill, maim, murder, do all the shit we've done to people just for our flag. You're not a patriot. So if I say I love America, but America got some issues, so that means I'm un-American. I'm communist. I don't know. So it's a racist sentiment attached to the whole reason why Colin Kaepernick is not playing.
Oh, as a black man, you're not patriotic if you don't accept white supremacy. So
or speak out against it. If you
right,
speak out against it, they ostracize you, right? They alienate you. They it's not a good. You become a quote unquote bad one. He's not affable. He's not friendly. He's no Cavalier Johnson. I'll tell you that much. I call our mayor Obama 0.2, not 2.0, right? It's Obama shit. Like, it's like, dude, who do we go for? What the fuck's going on? But no, so I'm talking about this because Kyrie Irving, who played in Boston, and there's long been stories about how racist the city of Boston is. As a matter of fact, Milwaukee usually is the most segregated and it's the most discriminative city in the country. The level of discrimination and segregation here it's always been one or two, and the city that he usually battled it out with was Boston, right? And so Kyrie played there, right? And these fans and the NBA should have learned from the Malice in the Palace, right? A lot of NBA fans, and it's mostly old white dudes, drunk white dudes who think because I bought a ticket, I can come in here and say whatever I want to say to you, right? Like, you motherfucker, you fucking loser, nigger. It would be like,
you make so much money, you're supposed to accept it.
Accept it, right? And you black. Fuck around with you. You better bounce that ball, nigger. Like, it's right? Like, so when we talk about Kyrie Irving, if you're unaware of the incident that I'm talking about, during the playoff game last Sunday, he gave Boston fans the finger twice. And he says, dude, I can only be so many bitch ass niggas and all this kind of shit. I'm only going to be so many. And I thought, once again, here's a chance for everybody, all black athletes, to take a stand and say, you know what? It's wrong that fans feel a sense of entitlement and feel like because they purchased a ticket or a jersey that they can come and say whatever they want to me, right? It's like you work at your job and I go down there and get a security guard some money and come in and just sit at your desk all day and just yelling, yo, you ain't shit. Fuck you. Go your ass back home, bitch. Like, and I say, well, I paid to get in here, right? So, and then I didn't hear the black players. I did actually, because there's some brothers who said, no, you know what? He's right. But I seen Charles Barkley and I seen Shaq. You got to be a bigger man. You got to do. And I'm like, Barkley, didn't you go to jail here in Milwaukee for throwing a white dude through a glass plate window for talking shit to you in a bar?
Exactly. At the Calderon Club.
Right. Yep. Is that what it was?
That's what it was.
Okay. So, I mean, I'm saying once again, we miss an opportunity as black men to say, yeah, man, enough of that bullshit.
Right.
You don't get to do that. Like, you want to cheer for your team, cheer for your team. If you want to boo me, boo me. But it don't have to translate into you fucking your mom. That's why your mom. Like, they say every kind of thing to these players, and the NBA, and they literally 6-7 feet away from them. And the NBA, I don't know what kind of security protocols they have, but this is a very crazy situation. I feel like there should be some kind of code of ethics or behavior given to NBA fans to say, listen, just because you bought a ticket, don't give you the right to throw nothing, to insult nobody, to be racist, to be whatever. But once again, it's racist white people doing it, so it's allowed. I guess that's my point. So I feel like Kyrie Irving should have gave them the finger, and he should have gave him two, and every black player should have stood with him and said, "Hey, man, I understand.
Right.
I understand." You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't get the support you need when we don't exercise intentional solidarity. We end up short. That's all. That's my thing. What you think about this whole situation?
Well, in this case, I feel like the team should pay the fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I feel like either the Nets should pay the fine for him, or the Celtics should pay the damn fine because their security was laxed. A lot of times when those guys get too wild on the sidelines, they'll send security say, "Hey, calm down, or your ass is out of here." But during this playoff game, didn't happen. So yeah, I would say, hey, let the team pay his fine.
Take a look at Milwaukee. The Milwaukee game Sunday against the Bulls. If you look behind the players, there's a barrier now. That never used to be there. It's a barrier. It's a metal barrier. And these kinds of steps have to be taken because you letting 50,000 people into a room, basically, a big ass room. You don't know who the hell in there, right? So I'm just saying there should be some steps taken by the NBA to at least address fans and say, if you get caught doing this, you're going to be removed and you won't be allowed to come back, right? Like, and I ain't just talking about, I'm saying if you up and a player, you going in and you nigger this and you and fuck your mother and all this, and it's all just recorders. You didn't know he's being recorded. You take your ass on out. People say, well, no, you can't do that. Some got to be done.
Well, they've done that before. They've banned unruly fans from returning to the stadiums, returning to the arenas. But you just got some assholes out there, man. Like you said, they feel like their money is better than everybody's. My opinion. I can offend whoever I want to. So yeah, you're right. They do got to do something about keeping the assholes from getting so close to the floor.
Come on, man. Nobody should have to put up with that shit. Nobody should have to put up with it. So, and I keep, time is out for brothers to be taking shit like this is 2022. You don't get to talk to us like that no more, no matter what our job is. We say we don't support no unsolicited banging on no outlaws, right? So you don't get to say that, man. I don't care what it's like. If so, I get to walk in somewhere and the janitor who maybe make less money than me, or I feel like he's beneath me, I can spit on the floor and say, "Clean that shit up, janitor." And janitor need to take that damn mop with that handle off that mop and be like, "I beat your ass. You mopping this shit up." He shouldn't have to take that, or she shouldn't have to take that. I just feel like okay, so Earl Henning, let me get Earl Henning. He said if he really wanted to do something to the dumbass, he should have pointed him out I think it was a collective finger, though, Earl. I think he wasn't. I think it was so many of them. Like, because I mean, can you really identify? You talking about an ocean of Boston fans, right? That's that close to the floor. You know, they're overwhelmingly white. I'm not saying they ain't got black fans. We're talking about Boston.
Kyrie
right?
was cooking their ass, though. They won, but Kyrie was cooking them.
It's
Kyrie was cooking.
Like, come on, man. You know, and the flip side of it is like with Ron Artest or what happened where you got an unstable player who ain't with the shit. And he gonna go up in the crowd like, he said, oh, he wasted all that money. He blew that money. He crazy. He don't care about no damn money. And Ron Artest went on and got a ring the next year with the Lakers, though. So I don't know if they really but he means Steven Jackson and all them dudes really suffered behind it. He went on and got him a ring. I think Steven Jackson ended up getting a ring with somebody else too, though, or before or after.
San Antonio.
Okay, after that. Okay. So yeah, man, I'm just saying, like, racist white fans always, you rarely see a group of rowdy black fans like getting into it with players or you know, fighting with a athlete at a bar or something. It's usually some racist white, hey, fucking bought your jersey for my son, you asshole, right?
Yeah.
So then you gotta, you don't never know who you dealing with, man, is my point. And so I think that the NBA players shouldn't have to put up with it. And I felt like Shaq and Barkley. See, once again, I believe in this policy of we keep our business in the house, right? Like, it's like I can get into it with my brother and me and him might call it each other anything. We might be getting ready to throw blows. Like, it might be that serious. When we walk out the house, you better not fuck with them. You better not say nothing. And if we into it and somebody come and ask me about it, I'll be like, that ain't none of your goddamn business. That's between me and my brother. If I got an issue with him, I'll talk about it with him. So I feel like we miss these opportunities because, you know, brothers want to be safe, I feel like. Like, I don't, once again, Barkley, you've committed more legal, but been pulled over for DUIs and all kinds of shit. Right? Like, so, but now you're the moral compass, right? Like, so, you know. And Shaq, really, we've always known Shaq was for the streets to a certain degree in terms of he's a businessman. Right. He's going with the highest bidder. Like, once somebody really show you that that's who they are, you just respect them for, like, oh, you's a good hoe, right? Like, you admit, right? Like, I'm out here trying to sell this thing, right? So that's what I expect you to make business decisions. So I don't think Shaq is, you know, at his level where he's at. I mean, Shaq feels like, I'm sure he feels the sting of racism on a certain level because I can't take that from him. But in his position, I feel like a lot of those dudes feel like they transcend race. Right. They feel like once they get a certain amount of money, it's like, you know, I'm not black like you, right? Like, I'm a different kind of black. I'm a rich black.
What was it OJ said? I'm not black, I'm OJ.
Right. He said everybody can't be Martin Luther King.
Black, I'm OJ.
How that work out for you, buddy? Right. I'm just saying, man. White fans, just check yourself. Enough is enough, man. And you know, you throwing all, like, this goes back to Colin. Everything goes back to Colin. That's what I'm saying. There's a racial undertone attached to the whole Colin Kaepernick thing, where we know that if you're speaking out, 9 times out of 10, you're a racist white person. What is he doing? What is he doing? And then it leads from there to those people should just comply, just do what the police say, and all this. We get into these conversations where it's like, oh, I see. Oh, no wonder you said that. I get you now, right? Earl Henning said, unless it's man's or dad asking you what up with you and your brother. Yeah, right. You're right. If it's family, you know, if my wife or if my mom or, you know, somebody in the family says, what's going on with y'all? Yeah, we talk about it because there's probably a resolution in there. But I'm talking about where everybody in the neighborhood got to have an opinion. And then we going in, what you think? What you say about it? Like, nah. And I feel like black people need to close the ranks. We need to circle the wagons and say, we're going to deal with our shit ourselves. Right? We don't need you. That's why I say when the whole Will Smith joint and Chris Rock joint and white actors had me dying laughing, coming out saying, I was traumatized. So what? Nobody cares. I said, somebody gave me Schumer some attention. So I was threatened. They followed me home. Who followed you home? Nobody followed you home, right? They twisted my arm and threatened me. You just wanted to be involved. Like, come on, man, this ain't about you. So that's what I'm saying. Jay Leno's like, I was offended by the profanity. Really? First of all, the Oscars, a great majority of the movies that y'all giving awards for are full of profanity. Right?
Right.
It's not like you. That's a benchmark for you not to. I mean, you gave Halle Berry a award for getting banged by a redneck, right? And that was the only time Eric Benet showed his Milwaukee side. So, fuck this. I'm out of here. Oh no, I got a sex addiction. I bet you do. You had to watch Billy, and then you had to be there for her to get the award, right? And you see Billy Bob congratulating her, looking at Eric like, yeah, that man was hurt. He was hurt, man. He ain't wear no shoes since, right? All sandals. I'm
like, we some lucky guys, aren't we?
Hollywood.
Telling your wife, we some lucky guys, aren't we?
Oh, we so blessed. About what? Just won an award for getting banged by a redneck named Billy Bob. His real name is Billy Bob. We all off the topic, man. Yeah, it's the Big Black Sports Show. Welcome aboard, man. This is what we do on Tuesday nights, man. Tell a friend, hit like, hit share, hit follow. We'll be on Without Radio tomorrow night. Myself and Kamar Carter and probably the brother Rail and the sister Courtney. The one thing about my information gang, I call them my outlaw word mob. It's interchangeable. It's like the Wu-Tang Clan almost. Like, you know, come in and do different things and be on different songs, and so we do it like that. So we'll see who's on here with me tomorrow. We have guests. I still have guests lined up. I don't have a calendar in front of me, y'all. But if you out there and you listening and you want to get involved with the show, call in. I encourage people to call in. The line is open. But I know a lot of people kind of dwell in the chat room and be like, fuck, I'm not calling in. I get that too, but I'm just saying. Or if you really got something going in the community that's positive or progressive, hit me up. You can come on, talk about it. We'll promote it. I won't knock the stuffing out your Egg McMuffin. I promise you. I'm into collaboration with this. Like I feel like this ain't rap music, right? Like, so we should be making diss podcasts and shit, right? I've been on YouTube, so I'll be looking at these dudes. Like, I've seen like there's real like YouTube beef with cats. Like, when I see you, it's on. Like, Whack 100 is threatening Hassan Campbell and like the whole Kwame Brown thing with Matt Barnes. Like, I'm like, y'all know we all on the internet, right? Like, and then so this don't have nothing to do with sports either, but somebody tell me this. At what point do you get too old? Because I was talking about, we listened to the Charleston White. He was bitching, hoeing, motherfuck this and motherfuck that and hoe this. And so at what point do you get too old to really conduct yourself like that? Or is there a line? Is there a limit? I feel like the older I get, the more sophisticated and cool I should get. I don't feel like I should be old, walking around talking about, yeah, the bitch, you understand me, and I made the hoe, and da-da-da-da. I feel like as an older man, I should speak intelligently, even if I'm saying something that's negative. Like, if I'm saying, yeah, the young lady chose to turn all the profits over to me, I just merely asked for them. Like, I feel like you just figure out a way to say it.
I think Charleston White kind of caters towards people who trollers. He has that style. You know, people who write very incendiary things in the comments, you know, snapping on you and cussing you out in the comments. He attracts those kind of people. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we cheerleaders for foolishness. I ain't gonna lie, I pull up for the bullshit sometimes with Charleston White. Like, because the best thing,
it is entertaining.
Oh my goodness, that's what I'm saying. I put that clip up, but I always look at things and I try to say, okay, let's add some contrast to it. Like, let's look at what was said and what you know and how you feel versus how the people interpreted it. So you look at the comments. That's how I approach social media. I'm not trying to define myself. I'm not trying to, like, people say, you do your show on there. Well, I mean, yeah, it's the internet. So, you know, what I'm gonna do, try to get on WNOV? I mean, this is the new WNOV, right? Like, the internet is radio now, right? Like, so, but I mean, I'm not defined by social media. I don't do anything to really try to get clicks except for put up good shows. I put up the show with Big Mike, OG Big Mike from the Convicts, Rap A Lot Records. Great interview, great show. That up. I'm trying to find the MC Shan interview because he's trending right now because he was on Drink Champs.
I remember that one. That was a good one, man. That was a good one.
He said some crazy stuff on Drink Champs, but he said some crazy shit right here.
Right? Yes.
Radio.
Like, I don't know. Do you have the better interview or Drink Champs?
You know what?
Tripping on with you. He was tripping. He was kind of.
He felt the outlaw thing. Like, I mean, AMG and all these people, like all these people, Conscious Daughters. All these interviews that I've had, even with OG Big Mike, it was a conversation about hip hop and music and a lot of other things. So it was like Drink Champs. They get to kick back with him, and drink and smoke with him and all that. It was like bring your own bottle for my interviews. Like we just did a classic interview with Mac Mall from the Bay. From way back in the days, classic E40 little cousin there. Mac Mall, if you from my school of hip hop. Great interview though. Great interview. And it wasn't about no smoking and drinking, and it wasn't about, wilding out. It was about we had conversations about his friendship with Tupac on there, how he met Tupac and how Tupac kind of took him up under his wing. So we off topic. Yeah, still a big black punch. I'm saying I put up stuff on if I'm doing anything for likes, it's gonna be that. It's gonna be like, oh man, check this out. If you a big Mike fan or whatever, check this interview I did out with him. I'm not on there, doing the latest challenge and all this kind of stuff. I'm not. I don't utilize social media like that, but some people do. Like for them, it's the way they get stuff off their chest. People have a whole personality on the internet, and I know some people. I've seen them put up shit on YouTube or Facebook, and I'm like, that ain't you. You fronting. Right? Like, come on, man. Stop it, dude. Like, and it's the inconsistency is clear when somebody one day is turned up in the club and I don't get no fuck, and they put up nasty memes, and then on Sunday, church flow.
Right.
What they call them, red flags?
Oh, man. I see that so much, man.
Tiasha Arthur is flaming me from the chat room like she always does. She said, exactly, Kev, you always do a good show. And have no shame about using your flip phone. Tiasha Arthur is convinced that I use a flip phone to do the show. She's joking. She's like, it was a running joke because of my phone at one point. I was having some internet difficulties, and everybody who's listening to the show was just flaming me like, your shit's cheap. Like, a very traumatic time in as the host of Outlaw Radio during that time, man. Earl Henning said, he said it's amazing we keep making white people wealthy and not black people, but they said black people buy Jordans, right? We do. We do. Like we're consumers. That's why I keep saying why we don't have our own league. We wear our own jerseys. Like, Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all times. I feel like LeBron is number 2 since it's a sports show. We can have that conversation. I feel like LeBron is probably the second greatest. Only because LeBron didn't shift the game as like Jordan did. Right. Like Jordan changed positions. He changed how the game is played. When you start saying, I'm gonna start looking for athletes like that, and then the league becomes these high flying, crazy, that we have now. You can say some Eastern European players came with the real solid fundamentals in the jump shooting, which is why now we have big 7-footers now. Remember, in America, big bigs didn't used to shoot threes. In Europe, they did. The Russians is Haskins come over here. He's 7'2", shooting a 3.
Right.
That changed the game. So I feel it changed the kind of athletes that you put in the game. I don't feel like LeBron did that. I think LeBron just conquered the game. The championships, the all-star appearance, all the accolades, the status, all this kind of stuff. I think he is great in that right. But the thing about Jordan is Jordan ain't never gave a fuck about us. And I'm not trying to, okay, so people say, well, you don't know what he donates to. Maybe he donates to the United Negro College Fund, or he has, I don't know what his philanthropic efforts are. But I know vocally he's never come out, because I feel like he could be a force in Chicago, a force in America, just to show up one day where there's a line wrapped around a building 25 years after you are done playing, to show up there and make sure, or see where people fighting and tripping over. No, I'm gonna make sure everybody here gets a pair of my shoes. First of all, I don't want no fighting. I don't want no violence. I'm against the violence. I don't even recall him ever even making that statement, at least audibly. Maybe he said it to some of his friends or whatever, but there's no Michael Jordan anti-violence initiative. Why?
Well, with the last situation, the uprisings of what was it, 2 summers ago? The Blake shooting, things like that. he came out, he made a couple of statements, and he threw money at the problem. He paid the police association, and he paid some activist organizations. Gave donations rather. He gave donations to both sides of the fence.
Okay.
Now, so when you compare LeBron to Michael Jordan, when you compare what they have done for the community, I said LeBron is much more important to us because, hey, he's a big brand. He has a big brand. You know, he's a big NBA star. A lot of investments, big star, a lot to lose, but he's always spoken out for. He's always spoken out against white supremacy. He's always spoken out for black people. So whereas Michael Jordan, kind of like Shaq, will play it safe. You know, I don't want to offend white people, so I'm gonna play it safe. But at the same time, you're not telling black people either. Hey, I do got y'all back. I do want to show you different ways of support. And yeah, to me, LeBron is, he stepped up more. Now, as far as playing wise, as far as their abilities, being the better player, I say I'm not going to make that decision until LeBron retires. I want to see both full bodies of work. And the only problem is that right now, LeBron looks like he's going to play a lot longer. And that's because one of the reasons is that because Mikey went to college. But when he came out, his sophomore, junior year?
Yeah, freshman year, I thought he came out. I thought he was one and done. Maybe he was two. I don't know.
I think it was two because I know he came back that next year.
Right. Now, you are right in terms of social contributions, and as a black man, LeBron dwarfs Jordan. And LeBron has sent kids to college. He's paid for black kids to go to college. LeBron has showed his community love. LeBron James went back to Cleveland. And after they dissed him for leaving and shitted on him and did all what they do, they was burning his jerseys. Once again, angry white fans, right?
Yep.
Putting up billboards on. He still came back, got a ring, and left again, right? And but my thing with that is okay, yeah, with us in terms of his, as far as him being a black person, his married to a sister, got his boys, and knock on wood up to this point. And if it does come, I don't even care the controversy, any kind of controversy. He's raised his kids. He's a father to his children. So even in that regard, whereas Jordan had his wife and his kids, but then he ended up divorced and babies on the side and all. So yeah, we know just and you're right, Rock. You're right. Rock said he did all that and he's still worth $1 billion. He is, but a lot of one of the main reasons he's a billionaire is because of us. His initial support comes from us because if people don't remember. In the beginning, the NBA, they didn't even want Jordan to wear his shoes. They was fighting him for wearing the shoes the way they looked, right? No white people were picking up on those shoes. Converse was running the day. That's why Magic, like, damn, I missed on Nike. We're gonna talk about Magic.
Man. Oh man, yeah.
Talk about Magic, right? But I'm saying, so black people, we made that part of our style. The Spike Lee commercial. Is it the shoes? That's part of hip hop. That becomes popular. That becomes pop culture because black people liked it. And it just so happened at a time when hip hop was going through this kind of golden era of creativity. So it's us though. Your bottom line support comes from us. So that's what makes it even crazier that now and because if you're doing it behind closed doors, kudos to you. But why does it have to be behind closed doors? You say, well, I don't got to tell people about it. You don't, but it's important that we exercise intentional solidarity, meaning you should come out and say, hey, I support this, I support that, these my people. And he probably saying it just like me with Colin Kaepernick, like, fuck them, they ain't gonna even support you. If my shoes stop selling tomorrow, black people will be happy. He might feel that way, we don't know. I know Chameleonaire always tells the story about being at some signing or some event with Jordan, and he's wanting to like meet him, and he's like, I'm waiting, and I hear Jordan say, fuck him. I don't fuck with rappers. Like, I don't like rappers and shit like that. So I was like, well, I guess he'd rather hear some jazz or something. Right? He one of them kind of brothers. Now I don't know. We got a little time left, Tank. I'm gonna let you pick. Because I did want to get into the Packers and the draft is coming up, but we don't necessarily have to get in. We've talked about mock drafts and all that. I had gone and looked at what the predictions were now because they change about who who the Packers would get with their first four picks in the first 2 rounds. It's names we've heard before. We've talked about the brother from Penn State. Some people are saying it's going to be the boy Olave from Ohio State. Speaking of Ohio State, we were off the air. We didn't get to talk about the death of Dwayne Haskins. We didn't get to talk.
That was unfortunate.
Right. And I know it's going. Go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say I was watching the Ohio State spring game yesterday.
Okay.
And they had a really good memorial for him, man. Video memorial during halftime, man. And that's a sad situation, man. But why are you crossing a highway? Walking across the highway?
And that's I heard some information saying he ran out of gas. I heard that, but I didn't hear anything else about it. I seen that was like a tweet. Because of course, who violated? Some old white dudes, right? Surprise, surprise, right?
These nuts.
Gil Brandt from the Cowboys and what's the boy Adam Schefter from ESPN who want to jump out the window. And immediately, as soon as any brother dies, we got to spin the narrative. You know, he high, you know, he struggled in the NFL. He's a young brother, first of all, who came out early. And he was right for coming out. People say he should stay one more year. Why? I just made Ohio State millions of dollars. And he can make millions of dollars. Secondly, as a man, it's somebody's father, it's somebody's husband, it's somebody's son, uncle, cousin, what have you. So respect the dead, man. You know what I mean? Right. And for Gil Brandt, once again, an old white dude, right? And Adam Schefter, who you made your living talking about sports with, and most of who you're talking about is black athletes. So if anybody owes any respect, you owe it. So once again, they came out and said something negative about him, but enough people jumped on their ass. I don't know if Gil Brandt apologized. I think he kind of came back and tried to re-chew it. And I didn't forgive. Of course, I didn't mean, you know how many niggers I made rich? Okay, he didn't say that. I was just thinking he probably felt like that.
Right. There's no need to question it with malice, man.
Right.
There's no need to question it with malice. Just, you know, Gil Brandt is, I never did like him anyway. I don't even know. He used to be a beat writer, right?
No, he was an executive. He's a personnel person for the Cowboys. Has been for a very long time ago. Adam Schefter has been a beat writer. He's a sports columnist. He's, you know.
Schefter.
Right. He's
that guy here, he and the other guy, guy they bring along to do the NFL draft commentating.
You talking about Mel Kiper?
Yeah, Mel too. Those guys, man.
I mean, Dwayne Haskins ain't no different than most of us was at 24, 25 years old. He just had millions of dollars and spotlight, and he had a high-profile job. And what I say this all the time, you spend your youth making mistakes. That's what you do. That's what young people do. Right. Most young people, every now and then you have a super mature, centered young person who's like, no, usually they struggle later on. When all of us chilling, then they go crazy. Like, what the fuck wrong with you? I've always
makes no sense.
What you to do?
It makes no sense to bring up his ability as a quarterback. He's a young quarterback. He's been in the league for a year or two. He's young. He's still learning the pro game. So why are you bringing up his athletic ability when what's more important is the loss of his health and leading up to it? That's what's more important. How did this happen?
Yeah, that should be the focus, man. Once again, you should not be surprised when individuals who are associated with the NFL or have been employed by the NFL for a long time, you shouldn't be surprised when this is their reaction or this is, you know, how they feel about us. Like, you know, and like I said, with the whole thing with John Gruden, first of all, I thought that they was out of order for going into John Gruden's emails because I feel like you should be able to say whatever the hell you want to say. Yeah, but at the same time, if it was full of niggers and faggots and this and that, you shouldn't be surprised by that. Like, I don't know why black people at this point would still be surprised by a racist white person, right? Like, that's why it makes, I don't know if you remember a few weeks back when I think it was Outlaw Radio, or it may have been us, where we had a troll, like a white dude called in. I think it was Outlaw Radio where he called in and he was just, and it was like, we laughed at him. Like, dude, for real, it's 2022, right? You call in, yeah, you niggers. What did you think we was going to do? We laughed at him, right? And so Scott Epicet, who's the known Facebook white troll in Milwaukee. He's come in on Outlaw Radio a couple times to try to throw something in the chat. It's like, bro, we know how you feel about us. That's why I say we should be all the more intentional about intentional solidarity and letting them know. Not only do we understand how you feel about us, we collectively don't give a shit.
Right.
We don't care, right? Is what we looking at is the opportunities that need to be allowed for us. As long as you're gonna feel the way you feel anyways, please don't believe because they do a sit-in or a protest or they make a big deal and start a hashtag campaign about that all lives matter and we care. I don't see. That's why I can't stand here, motherfuckers say I don't see color. What the fuck is wrong with you? How do you pick your clothes? What do you do at a stoplight? Do you just keep going? I don't even want to drive behind you. You don't see color. I don't know what the hell is going on. It's okay to be honest about it, right? All right. So when you say I just don't like black, I'd be like, that don't surprise me. I'm not coming apart when they say, oh, we hit a camera, we hit a recorder, and this motherfucker said nigger. Clutch the pearls. No. So I mean, that's just how I feel about it. I don't, and I say when people say you contradicted yourself because you're saying Kyrie was right for giving them the finger. Well, I don't think Kyrie was giving them the finger because he was surprised, because I think he's been dealing it for a long time. I think he was more or less saying, I get it, but you know what? Fuck you too anyways. Like so I don't think he was like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. That's what you usually do when you be like, all right, motherfucker. Okay, you got yours off. Well, here go mine. So yeah, go ahead, brother. I cut you off. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's cool. He was cooking their ass. Kyrie was. I watched that game, man, and I enjoyed it, dude. KD could have stepped up a little more for the Nets, but other than that, man, Kyrie was balling, man. And Jason Tatum,
the Celtics have a good team.
They got a good team, but it's like they're missing something.
What are they missing? What are they missing? Please elaborate on that.
To me, it seems like they're missing something. I don't know. Is Marcus Smart really a point guard? He didn't even come into the league as a point guard.
Defensive player of the year.
Yeah, he's a good defensive player, but shit, he's also a hack artist. Dude is
okay.
He's like Pat Beverly. He's just overly physical for no reason. Pat
Looney Tune, like he's a funny, and he is hilarious. Earl Henning said that's why he didn't want to play for them. You're right. I mean, once again, the players in Boston are aware. They can hear them niggas, and they feel like, well, he talking to them. He talking to Kyrie. They ain't talking about they like me because I play. No, they don't. That's what I'm saying. When something like that happens, we all need to stand together and say that shit's out of order. So it needs to be like maybe a Boston player to come out in the media and say, yeah, he gave y'all the finger, and y'all shouldn't be at the game disrespecting that man. You know what I mean? Like he's a man just like don't let this sport, that's how people always say, don't Facebook get your ass whooped, right? So
Boston is praying and wishing and hoping for another Larry Bird. They was hoping Gordon Hayward would be that, but they just can't wait to get them another Larry Bird, man. They can't wait.
Man, that's old of you to say that. I feel like you just dated yourself, like to say Larry. Because a lot of NBA fans now don't even remember when Larry Bird played. Like he retired for 30 years.
But he was a god out there, and why? Because he was a god out there. But why? Because he was an awesome white player.
Right, the Great White Hope. Right,
he was one of the best players in the league, and he was white.
Larry Bird is one of the greatest NBA players to ever play. He just so
happened. I agree.
But I also have heard Larry Bird in an interview talk about playing a lot of pickup games with black dudes, saying that he would go in, and he knew these brothers that he would go to, I guess, some court somewhere in Indiana, and he would play with them. And so he picked up on how they played the game. Because if you watch, Larry Bird didn't do what black dudes did because he was stiff. Physically, he couldn't do it. But he had a lot of black flair to his game. Larry Bird dropped a dime on you, a no-look or a cross. How many white boys was you seeing taking it through their legs or crossing you over back in the days. Like a lot of white boys didn't do. White players. I'm saying white boys. I sound
Behind the
racist.
back, no look pass over the shoulder.
Right.
He was nice.
The trash talking, right? The what they call him, the hick from French Lick, right? Yep. so yeah, he was one of the greatest players of all time. I don't think they couldn't be after because they won a title with my man, the truth. What's his name? Who went crazy?
This is Boston. No, this is racist Boston.
That's
racist true. Boston, Massachusetts.
That's true. I would never underestimate racism. Like I would never say that it ain't some white fans who still sitting there reminiscing like none of them players that Larry Bird was.
Right.
But there was
like it was when Larry was playing.
Right, but there was a lot of great black players on the team with Larry Bird, and people forget that Casey Jones, who was the coach, was a black man. Right? So that's the audacity. That goes to show you that these white fans, man, they have a sense of ownership. So when I do leave, oh, you come back now, nigga, I hate you. I want to kill you. I want you getting death threats. Like a Deebo Samuel in San Francisco saying he's going through a contract issue and he's getting death threats from fans about his contract. Like it's like, dude, it's a sport. You bought a jersey, you bought a ticket, you don't get the right to do all this other shit. Right. Like you sending me death threats about my contract? And I done played in cold, I done played in heat, I done played in rain, I done played hurt and got my body banged up. And I'm trying to make sure because my window of opportunity is closing. Man. So I want to make sure I get all I can get right now. You call me greedy, you prima donna, you nigger, you're gonna get your fam. Really? I got heat for cats like you. They say I feel a lot of heat coming up into that couch, right?
Hey man, so Debo gets sweated because he wants to get paid, but nobody sweats Brady, nobody sweats Aaron like that. No death threats to those guys. You see what I'm saying here? I mean,
right. Well, there's definitely a double standard. Aaron was criticized heavily. Brady, there's a narrative about Brady that's not true too. That people always say, well, Brady, he took less money so other people could play with him, and that's not really what he did. What he did was he would restructure his contract. Right. Still got money. You just change the way they pay you so you can fit under the salary cap. So it's not like he was taking just give me minimum wage. Because first of all, if you wonder why Belichick never really kept black players like either, like you talk about the receivers, Brown and all these, when the skill position players, they usually ended up somewhere else because New England didn't want to pay them. Now who stuck? Gronkowski, until he retired, Teddy Bruschi, Mike Vrabel, all these dudes usually ran out the string and stayed. So come on, man, the proof is in the pudding with the NFL. I'm on some real fuck the NFL shit tonight. I don't know what's up with that. Getting your money is hard to do. Earl Henning said. Go ahead, Tank.
It's hard to do.
I'm looking at the Bucks in the playoffs. They were up. They were blowing it. I need for Middleton to really step his game up, right? Because I feel like and I'm not a basketball dude. So if you're a basketball fan out there, because I know basketball fans are just like ultimate Bear fans. Like they're just hard to deal with. Like, Bear fans are just hard to deal with because they're so delusional, and they think they know everything. But basketball fans are kind of the same way. So, but
Bears and Bulls fans.
I feel like if Middleton doesn't take advantage of the fact that the whole NBA knows that everything goes and starts and stops in Milwaukee with Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? And I feel like that's such an opportunity for you to just give him 25, 30 a game. In order to cement his legacy to me and not get traded, I feel like Middleton needs to go off for the rest of the playoffs and get his average up to about 27 points a game. Yeah. Drew, scoring is fine with Drew, but really his defensive prowess is we talking about their big three. Of course, you got Brook Lopez back. The three-pointer it didn't look like it was falling just yet. I haven't seen every game he's played since he's been back. They blew a big lead, and during that time, it was just because the spark wasn't there for offense. Like you can get Bobby Buckets, you get Bobby Portis will come in and he'll do it. He brings some to the table. But I feel like Middleton needs to really step up into that spot. Are you going to be the Scottie Pippen? Are you going to be the AC Cooper or Michael Cooper or the AC Green? Like how it's great players, and then you got this player who's just there consistent all the time. The James Worthies, where I ain't Magic and I ain't Kareem, but I'm going to put up numbers and I'm going to be consistent with it. I feel like Middleton needs to do that, or they need to trade him. for a younger player.
Inconsistent. Inconsistent. You know, he had a good series against the Suns last year. You know, but up to that point, man, he was night and day. And it's the same way this year, this playoff series. He's got to step it up and he's got to be consistent. Like you said, 25, 27, night in, night out. He's got to be a dog every night. Every
Right.
night.
So we talked about the Nets losing to the Celtics. Which one of those teams do you think poses the biggest threat to the Bucks? And of course, the Bucks still got to beat the Bulls. I understand that. And they on scholarship too. I don't people get to talk shit. You just but I mean the likelihood is that the Bucks, we expect the Bucks to beat them. Who do you think poses the bigger threat, New Jersey or Boston?
I'm gonna say New Jersey. I mean Brooklyn.
Okay, I said New Jersey. My bad. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say Brooklyn because they got KD, man, and to me that's the best shooter in the NBA right now.
Okay.
And he he almost kicked our ass last year, single handedly. So now he's got Kyrie, man, and like I said, Kyrie cooked the shit out of the Celtics, man. If he puts together 2 or 3 games like that against us, we're in a lot of trouble. You know, but we got the guard that could possibly lock him up though. With Drew.
Right. You got Drew. Right.
But
you're right.
KD, man, KD.
Right. KD is KD, right? I feel like Boston is a better team. I feel like Boston gets more. I feel like they play together because it ain't just centered around a KD or a Kyrie that demand basically to have the ball in their hand. I know the rim protector, I can't remember, Robert something for the Celtics has been hurt. But he's a big part of what they do as well. But they play team ball, and then they have some absolute ballers on their team. So I feel like they're a better team, and they're younger. KD a little long in the tooth. Kyrie ain't old, but he getting up there. And I'm saying, because I feel like your game plan should just be let KD do what he does, and then just D up everybody else, right? If I can take Drew and put him on, on Kyrie, and that equals out, and then I got Giannis and I can put Portis and send Wesley Matthews at KD and harass him, right? I feel like we can beat them. But Boston is a little bit harder to figure with Tatum and all these cats, and so I would say Boston. That would be my thing. I still feel like the champion of the NBA is coming out the West, though. I feel like nobody's gonna beat the Suns unless Chris Paul gets hurt or unless Devin Booker gets hurt.
Right.
I feel like beat them. I don't think the Bucks right now, unless Middleton goes on that tear that I was talking about, and Lopez 3-pointer comes back, and I don't feel like the Bucks can beat the Suns in a 7-game series.
And another thing I noticed, man, is that a lot of the playoff games over the last few days, they've been very athletic games, very high-scoring athletic games. A lot of young guns in there, and they are balling. And we talked about this earlier, early in the year, man, is that will they have enough young guns, to compete? Will they be able to hang? Because my thing is that usually playoff basketball becomes half-court basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was seeing, man, for instance, the Memphis Minnesota game.
Right, Minnesota's nice. Minnesota got a good young.
That was a good game too, man. And they were just running.
Yeah,
they were just running.
In terms of athletes, the NBA they have to look at this as one of the most talented. Like, this is the most talented the NBA has ever been in terms of the individual players. Man, listen, every team almost has some dude who's just ridiculously phenomenal athletically, and so it has a lot to do, and I'm glad that there's guaranteed contracts. NBA players tend to be a little bit more, I'm not saying that the NBA owners, I should say, I know that the majority of them are white too, but at least they have a couple black owners in Jordan and in Robert Johnson. And so there, even with management, you see brothers who are executives and stuff like that. And so I'm not saying they're not devoid of racism either, because I just got done complaining about what they need to do about they goddamn crazy ass white boy fans. But I'm saying The NBA is stacked right now. You're right. It's even the games where you say, well, who cares about these two teams? Watch the game. You can be like, who the like, because I keep saying my son is starting to make fun of me because I'm John Morant. To me, I'm like, that's Jordan. That's the new Jordan. And so that's what I was gonna say to you about comparing Jordan and LeBron is I've watched LeBron play and been like, damn, dude, it's cold. Like, man. But I remember watching Jordan in his prime as a youngster saying, holy shit, I ain't never seen that. Like, he was rarely off. You rarely seen Jordan off.
I'm gonna tell you this now. I apologize. You're right. This Saturday ain't got shit. When it comes to this John Morant dude, I seen him miss a dunk attempt that if he would have made it, it would have been the dunk of the decade, dude.
Right.
He tried to double pump dunk on 3 people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, first
he
of all,
tried to double pump. He brought it up, brought it back down with one hand, but he missed it.
He's not 6'7". He's not 6'5". This dude jump out the gym hops. You know, it reminds me of a young Tracy McGrady or a young Grant. Remember Grant Hill was young and he had ridiculous hops. Like where, ooh, like I feel like I said this the other day. Grant Hill was coming for the title until he hurt his ankle. Like that, just sideline is. Grant Hill was a ridiculous basketball player. And so Tracy McGrady was as well. Like where you early on, you say, whoa, Anthony Hardaway, Penny Hardaway, like them dudes had that kind of thing that Ja has when you watching and you say, dude is on a different level. Like, so I've seen him make some of them dunks you talking about where he just comes down and it's just, and it's 6'10" dudes and everybody, and he's just like, I'm jumping over all y'all and do some stuff. So yeah, that don't mean he gonna win.
Alter the shot, and a guard to lay it up and try to roll it or something. Dude still trying to dunk.
Right. He'll shoot it. I seen him making when he just threw the ball up in the air from the other end of the court and it just went in like it. Come on, man. But that don't mean he gonna win the title. But he is one hell of a basketball player.
He is. And on that Minnesota, Anthony Edwards, man, same thing. This dude is crazy too with the hops.
Karl Anthony Towns on Minnesota, who is like 9,000 feet tall and weighs a ton. I'm exaggerating, obviously. That big boy is nice too, right? He's nice. The West is loaded. We knew the West was, because we still got the Warriors out there. Seeing shout out to Jordan Poole from Milwaukee King alumni, right? Milwaukee King alumni. Who went to school with me? Like, I don't know why he cheering now. He couldn't stand that shit when he was there. He wanted to go to Marshall. My daddy made me stay. So now, and I graduated. See, they got young guns out there too, man. So the NBA playoffs is entertaining. It's a good watch. I can sit and watch. Because even like a team like Utah that we don't see that much, they have a good team and some great players, and you can watch and say, oh man, this is gonna be a hell of a playoff series. And I feel like the finals, once again, last year I feel like the best 2 teams in the league got there and played. And I feel like this year will be another situation where the best 2 teams in the league will meet up. I don't think it's going to be any upsets. I really don't. I don't see nobody upsetting Phoenix. I guess if the Bucks got beat, would it be considered an upset? I mean, if Boston or Brooklyn beat the Bucks, would that be considered an upset?
I don't think that would be considered an upset. If the Bulls was to come back, that would be
an upset, right? Yeah,
right. But
that's a bad
day. Especially with Brooklyn, I don't think Celtics would be more of an upset than Brooklyn.
Right. I don't put as much. I thought Brooklyn at one point was. I like KD, but to me, I don't see KD on the defensive end like I see somebody like a Giannis, or like, that's why I always say he's a better shooter than Giannis, but Giannis rebounds and defends way better than him. And Giannis just, he's more of a selfless player. KD want the ball.
Right. Well, yeah, but Giannis is more of a complete player.
Right.
Giannis may not have the outside shot that KD does, but KD cannot back down and play the low post like Giannis. Giannis is a bully down there, man.
Yeah, he's a
He's just a straight up bully down there, and I love seeing that shit.
physical specimen, and he's in the finalists again for MVP. And people would say, "Give it to Embiid, give it to Embiid." But hold on, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. Let's see. I don't know that, and Embiid is another ridiculous. Like, come on, man. What else? What else you gonna do if you that big and that athletic? Like, say he wasn't in the NBA. What else would he be a wrestler? What would he be? I don't know. Like, do you that big and working at pick and save? Like, I don't know what you doing, taking shit off shelves for people. Like some dudes, these dudes look like they was bred in a laboratory to play basketball. So, and Embiid has had a big year. I like Embiid's game, but I think he's a little bit too prodding. I don't think he needs somebody to give him the ball. Giannis passes. Giannis is a more, like you say, Giannis do a lot of dirty work. That's how he ends up with triple doubles and double doubles, right? Like, so.
I mean, Giannis, how often do you see Embiid bringing the ball up? Giannis can run the point. You know, Giannis is a bad boy.
He could, but we prefer he not. Right? We don't really. Giannis, get a ball up to Drew. Just get down there. You're right. Get down court.
But half the game, he'll bring the ball up like, I got it.
I mean, pretty much do what he want to do. I mean, there is times when he's like, "Go on, Drew, I got it. I have it. You go.
Right. He coast to coast at least twice a game.
I tell you what, give me the ball. That's my Nigerian accent, y'all. That's all I got. That's my Greek shit. Man, you put your book up, man. Let's hold your book up, promote the book, man.
Sir. Fullback. Hey man, interesting story, bro. My football coach from California, I heard years ago he had passed away. And just last week, man, one of my friends had reached out to me and said, "No, man, coach is still alive." You know, so I was able to contact the man and send him a book, man. I'm really proud of that, man.
Oh wow!
I'm really proud of that book. His name is Coach Lou Underwood. He played for Eddie Robinson at Grambling. He was my first football coach and the biggest influence in my life, man. I coach football because of that man. You know, and I write about him. I write about him extensively in the book. But yeah, man, you guys got to get this book and read it, man. I've had an interesting journey, and I've met some interesting people, man. And my first football coach, Lewis Underwood, very influential guy, man. Very influential. And I'm so proud that I was able to send him this book this week. So yeah, I hope he enjoys it because he was definitely a great coach.
Have you spoken with him? You haven't heard anything from him since?
I've spoken with him. I spoke to his son. He's doing well. You know, I saw a clip of him on Facebook. He's doing well. So yeah, I'm hoping that he should get it this week. So I'm hoping I can speak to him. You know, see how it's going. See if he can remember me. Shit.
How do people get your book?
So you can go to Amazon. It's on Amazon and it's on Lulu. It's on paperback and it's on ebook. And it's available now. Please get that.
All right. Support that brother, man. I'm thinking about what I'm gonna name. I don't know what I'm gonna name my book. I don't know. I'm thinking about what. No, I'm just kidding.
My man, hey, I'm pretty sure you're gonna have an interesting read, bro.
Oh man,
I'm pretty sure.
I couldn't write it. I would have to change a lot of names. It's just too much. People would be incriminated heavily by my book, right? Like, so I can't write it.
Yeah, man. You know, one thing about book writing, man, I got some old friends in California that are upset with me because everybody feel, you know, my name wasn't in the book. I wasn't in there. Ooh, I'm like, you know, I had to do a lot of heavy editing with this book. But I got some guys who are like super upset with me, man. Like, stop talking to me right now because I didn't put their names in the book. Like,
you know what's funny is when I read the first time, I was mad too. I was like, why you didn't put this in there? Why you didn't talk about this? And he was like, dude, like I can't, like I had to trim the shit down, bro. What you talking about? So yeah. You know, and it's a coincidence that like I don't know if people are members of the People's News Network, which is the sister group to my show and to my network and what I do. So I'm the chief admin of the People's News Network, and it's really just a group where I just try to put pertinent information, like no real fight videos, no porn or nothing. And over the last few years, it's really been flexible in seeing other platforms from podcasters and content creators. So if you go in there, you see a bunch of different shows. I never take those out. I never filter them. I feel like it's enough room for all of us, right? Like so, but like so, I put up stories in there, and I don't think about it as people are looking in this group and they're saying this is the People's News Network. Like the stories in here should be important. I put up a story about DJ Envy and his wife, DJ Envy from the Breakfast Club, and his wife is saying she faked her orgasms for 10 years in their marriage, right? Like, and so for me, I'm along the lines of once again the Dwyane Wade, Gabrielle Union, Will Smith, all these Hollywood weirdo, black celebrity stupidity. And people were like upset with me, like, why we need to know this? Like, why would you put? I'm like, damn, if you ain't interested in the article, just keep strolling. Right. So it's where it's like, so I heard your story about people being mad because their name wasn't in the book. I'm like, people get mad at you over your shit, right? Like, I see stories people posting there all the time. I'll scroll right past it if it doesn't spark my interest. But and it's like, how do this help me get to the money? And why is this the people's for real? He was like, I'm like, calm down, coach. It's not that serious, man. Damn. First of all, it's a Facebook group, right? And if you feel like you know better than me what kind of groups and what kind of information should be in there, post your stories. You're a member of the group. Post the shit in there. Lead by example. Be the change you want to see. Y'all make sure y'all support my brother Tank, man. We'll be on tomorrow night for Outlaw Radio. Man, we get it in on Outlaw Radio, man. I have an absolute blast, and I appreciate all the support. We've been doing real well for the last few weeks in terms of support. I got the apparel coming. I don't have on any tonight, but I'm the t-shirts, and I got a lot of people who are gonna get apparel off top just because they've been supporters for the show. I'm gonna sell it.
I gotta get a hoodie too, man.
Well, yeah, my wife and I have been working on some stuff, trying to because I did it before and I got a lot of support, but the business just wasn't right on it. Like, so, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Meaning if my effort and me, actually even just getting them out is costing me more than any kind of profit, it just don't make sense to do. It's always a better way to do business. And that's how we have to think about, we allow other people to commoditize us all the time. Right. So our music, our fashion, our style, our talk, we allow people to make it into something and sell it and make a profit off of us. We don't never capture that ourselves and cultivate it and say, I'm going to do my own shit. That's why I do a sports show. I can look at ESPN and yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. But I could do my own sports show too and talk to my people like we talk about sports. I'd rather have our conversation in the first place, man. You have to understand, man, you're either part of the problem or you are part of the solution. I think you have to understand that you have a choice in this world. Either you do or you don't. Either you will or you won't. Either you can or you can't. The thing about it is do what you must and do it the best you can and love what you do, right? But more importantly, love yourself, right? Because once we really start to love ourselves, we'll figure out how to love each other. The Black community ain't going nowhere until we start to love ourselves more and put more value on ourselves and know our worth. So no, I don't have to take if I'm owed something, I want that. Don't give me no consolation prize, right? I keep telling you, second place is the first loser. And in the words of Willie D, if your criticism of the Black community outweigh your contribution, you are most definitely a coon. I will see y'all tomorrow night for Outlaw Radio, man.
Peace.